Hey fellow tennis nerds, Merry Christmas if that's still what you're celebrating. I hope all is well and that you're managing to play some tennis in between all the eating gifts or whatever you are doing at the moment. In my recent new rackets video, I missed a few and I want to elaborate on a couple of other ones. I talked about the Pro Staff version 14 and mentioned a kind of goldish brown design. Dan Evans was seen in the Battle of the Brits actually sporting this cosmetic. He's using a Wilson 6195, 1820, and obviously it will look a little bit different in the retail design, but this is kind of what you can expect approximately. Another player who showed a new cosmetic upcoming retail frame during the Battle of the Brits is Andy Murray. He's still using his beloved PT57A, the Pro Stock code for the Head Pro Tour, but his frame is now painted as the Radical Pro Oxetic that is coming out in February. I mentioned those two frames in the previous video, but had not seen the footage from the Battle of the Brits and what they posted on social media, so now you can get a better idea of the cosmetic. The most important part of a racket is how it plays, so we will get into that once I start playtesting. My friend Henrik, who contributes to Tennis Nerd and the Swedish Tennis Magazine, he has been reviewing rackets for a long time. He is currently testing the Pure Aero 98 from Babolat and the Pure Drive 98. I did not mention the Pure Drive 98 for a logical reason. I did not know about it. I didn't think that they would update this racket right now. But now that I know, I'm curious how it will differentiate itself from the predecessor, which I thought was a bit stiff and not so exciting. Maybe this one is better, I don't know. I hope Henrik can update us as soon as he's given these two rackets enough playtime. I have released my first impressions of the Pure Aero 98, which I've been playtesting for a while, on my Patreon, so if you want to support Tennis Nerd, get all the latest and greatest news about tennis rackets, gear, and a bit of a personal blogging. Prince has also revealed their Beast line. It's a return of the Beast, which sounds pretty cool. I think they should use that as a tagline. I was a big fan of the Beast 98. My friend Dennis, who I do the podcast with from time to time, he is also a big fan of the Beast 98, still plays with that. I don't know if the Beast 98 will return, but the Beast 100 has been revealed in the social media post from Prince. So those are some new releases to be expected in 2023. Listed a bunch of other ones in my previous video about those, but I wanted to kind of update this since the Pure Drive 98 and the Beast is new to me. I didn't know about these frames. Maybe I've missed some other ones. Let me know in the comments. I also test now some Bolt rackets. These have been around for a while. Quite interesting frames. They have a very unique technology called zip strips, and I will have my first impressions about these rackets on my Patreon, and then you will get a review a bit later on for these Bolt rackets. They are not new. Some models might be, but they're completely new to me and they're quite a funky idea behind it. I've gotten some questions about what I want to see in 2023 from the racket manufacturers. I have not been asked by them, but by you guys, the followers. So thanks to all of you who actually subscribe and follow Tennis Nerd. I appreciate all of you, and if you don't subscribe, please do. It helps and it doesn't cost you anything at all. So my wish list for 2023 rackets is bigger updates than the cosmetic. There's so many just cosmetic updates in the racket place. It gets boring and, you know, you feel a little bit ripped off that you have to pay 250 euros or dollars or more in some cases for a minor update, whether it's a new layup, meaning what's actually inside the racket, or just a cosmetic update, really. I think the updates are too frequent for what is actually improved in the frame. It's obviously because they want to sell products, but it gets frustrating as a consumer, especially as a reviewer, because sometimes it's hard to detect exactly what the difference is. You can if you test rackets, as I have for years, and I test pretty much everything. I do feel the difference in rackets, but for the regular consumer, it will be almost impossible to differentiate between the different models. So if you're going to release new models, please do some work on them. Make sure that they are more than just a cosmetic update or just some like small layup change. If you want to save money on rackets, you should wait until the new line comes, because the outgoing line will be much cheaper. So that's a pro tip. If you're buying rackets online and you want to save some money, then you should buy the outgoing model. The differences are rarely huge, I would say. Quality control is still a huge downer. I rant about this every other video, you know that. But why is it still plus minus 7 grams, plus minus 0.7 centimeters in terms of balance? It's just too much. You can buy 2 rackets and they're completely different. That's why I recommend to use the matching service. If you're buying tennis rackets online, it might cost a bit extra with some retailers, but it's worth it because you can have peace of mind that you can choose the specs and get the 2 rackets that are close. Because I've gotten some real howlers over the years. Especially as a reviewer, I find it really weird that brands send me review demos that are 10-15 points more in swing weight than they should be. I can measure the specs, I can feel how heavy the racket is after all these years. So why not put in that extra attention to give me an average racket that is more typical for the product that is coming out? But the quality control ruins everything, and it feels a little bit lazy from the manufacturers that they send me these demos that are off. So hey, racket brands, fix this, do something. Please comment on it. Why is it like this? It's a bit too much. I know rackets are handmade. It's very tough to get them perfect, but I know there have been projects like the Fisher Zero Tolerance. Maybe you can at least reduce the error margin here in the quality control. That would be very well appreciated by consumers worldwide. So that's still one of my biggest issues I have with the racket industry. And for my personal wish list, I would like a more feel-oriented racket in 2023. An H22 from Wilson, a PT57E from Head, something like that, with a little bit of a plusher feel. We're talking high 50s, low 60s strung RA stiffness. That would be excellent. Maybe make a 1620 or 1819. You can make this type of racket, and I think people will really like it, especially advanced players, instead of just repeating the same thing. And it's always like mid 60s stiffness, not really a nice give in the string bed. I would like a little bit more of a plush feel, and I'm sure you will sell a lot of rackets. That's my wish, my personal wish list for 2023 when it comes to tennis rackets. Are you lost in the jungle of tennis rackets? Check out my online course. One more week of 50% off, then it goes back to its original price. That is all for now. Have a nice day, and don't forget to play some tennis.